Conquistador, I got called by John.
Conquistador?
Where did that come from? I didn't say that in the pod.
I think you did at some point.
I did say that?
I don't know
Okay.
when.
El
Here.
Conquistador said he loves Chris Sims. Hook him, met him twice
There
while
we
in
go.
Austin. Yo, what's up, mofos? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned. We are here. It's week 10. It's Sunday Night Football. The Lions are on. Ahmed Fareed is here wearing his rugby Lions jersey, and he's totally jinxing the Lions. Jared Goff just threw his fifth interception, and we're halfway through the third quarter. What the hell's going on here? C.J. Stroud's thrown 2 interceptions this quarter. What the hell's going on here? We got a what the hell's going on type of podcast for you today. What's up, dude? Good to see you. How are you?
F Sunday?
What the F Sunday? And maybe more to come on that, but you know we're here to hit all the games as always. And as always, we are Chris Sims Unbuttoned, presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement.
Yeah, Pete got me this for my birthday, my 45th birthday. Thank you, Pete.
Right.
I'll never wear it again.
Yeah,
it's
seriously,
clearly bad luck.
totally jinxing. I mean, I picked them for best bet this week. We picked them on Football Night in America. It's not over yet, though.
It's not.
It's not. This game has totally been dysfunctional, really mostly by the Lions to this point, but only down 10 points with 8:18 left in the third quarter. As usual, we will be annoying and give you live updates to a game that's not live for you anymore.
I am exclusively going to be watching this game.
I know.
I will not.
I know. Forget it. If you're wondering why there's some blank spots in your pod or watching this, it's because Ahmed can't focus.
I'll go.
And he's watching the Lions.
Did you stop talking? If he throws one more interception, though, Jared Goff, we will burn the jersey right here on the pod.
That would be
live,
awesome.
Live on
that
the
would
desk
be
here.
amazing.
When our friends from the studio come through, we'll get a match and we'll light the whole thing.
It's amazing. It's a Jared Goff, as hot as he's been, right? This is where football is so cruel. He's got 5 interceptions. I'd say 2 of them are not his fault. One of them is a Hail Mary, so 3 of them is not his fault, really. Right? But he's had this perfect passer rating. He's been unbelievable completion percentage. And here we are tonight. It's like, back. We gotta tip the scales of average a little bit and get him back there to where now he's throwing below 50%. He's got 5 interceptions. Crazy day, crazy game, and we'll get to it a little later.
Crazy day is right.
Yes.
As always, our promise to the homies, we're hitting every game from Sunday. We got down to the wire. We got several games that came right down to the final second, taking care of business for some teams. Underdogs biting back. It's been a theme throughout this year. Give me the headlines. Got to look back at what happened on Thursday. Crazy game. Maybe the craziest game of the year so far.
Well, maybe one of the most entertaining. It had it all going on that Thursday night.
Got to wait to the end for that one, though. And then a Monday Night Football preview. But let's start with down to the wire, and we will start with the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the Denver. They can't lose. Kansas City now cannot lose. I'm sure you've seen it by now. The 35-yard field goal, I think it was. Will Lutz lining up, blocked by our guy Leo Chanel, who we've liked for a long time, got in there, talked to Mike Florio, said that they identified a weakness, thought they could bull rush the middle of the line.
That's where they're special, right? I mean, again, I know there's some things to talk about in the game here, but I do think we got to talk about just the Chiefs and what they are as human beings, culture, whatever. It's the belief that they can win the game. It's the belief in their quarterback. It's the belief in their head coach. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper. It's belief in your defensive coordinator. It's belief in Dave Tobe, your special teams coordinator, who's awesome. And then it's a bunch of guys, and I tried to say this on Football Night in America a little bit before, and you feel this when you're there and you're at practice and you're around the facility. But when you talk about cultures, it's like, no, we want guys that believe what we believe, fit into our mantra of everyday work, right? And have a belief that's similar to us, Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and Mahomes. And what that is a bunch of guys that are like gym rats that love football, love to practice, do that. I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, the amount of times I heard defensive starters on the sideline talking about, I saw this on special teams and doing that is zero. It's zero in my career. 8 years in the NFL. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could ask my dad in his 15-year NFL career, too. It was like, hey, did you ever hear Lawrence Taylor or Mark Bavaro talk about special teams in the game? I guess he's like, no, never. It just talks to, like, they're always on it. They're always looking for an edge, whatever it is, and they just always believe they can make a play to win the football game. And it's incredible because this was a day where they shouldn't have won. And Denver did outplay them. And Denver did play really well throughout the football game. So they had it was there for the taking. Bo Nix played well, made some big throws. The game plan by Sean Payton was really good in taking advantage of some of the man-to-man and the pressures that the Kansas City Chiefs give you. And then on the other side of that, it was a day where they couldn't run the ball in Kansas City. Again, I wonder and worry about receivers in the passing game. I'm going through like peaks and valleys. I feel like one week I'm going, well, there we go, DeAndre Hopkins. Look at him last week. Oh, this week it's like, wait, where are the receivers again? And then next week maybe we see them. I don't know, but it's a little all over the place and concerning that way. Nonetheless, no running the ball. Mahomes making big plays with his right arm all day and under tremendous pressure.
So you did that on Football Night in America.
Yes.
Because they did choose to blitz him quite a bit.
They did.
They put pressure on him throughout the game.
Right. Well, I understand their approach because, again, we're talking about Denver. You and I, we've talked about this, right? It's one of the best secondaries in football.
Well, yes.
So they're going, hey, who cares? And we're sitting here going, wait, there's no receiver to worry about. So why wouldn't they play man-to-man and do that? That's where it's different than the team they played last week, the Baltimore Ravens, where it's like, you blitz and play man-to-man against that group, that's a little scary, okay? Because of Lamar's running and the weapons they got. This one, they don't have to worry about that. They have to worry about Mahomes scrambling. But he's not going to just gash you with 70-yard runs like Lamar and do all that, let alone they don't have a Zay Flowers or a Rashad Bateman on their football team right now, or a Deontay Johnson. So they got none of that. The top 3 receivers on the Ravens are better than any receiver on the Chiefs. So, yeah, there's issues there. But, yeah, they got blitzed today, and not only blitzed, and I think, like, at times schematically, like, whoa, they got free, and I think it caught Mahomes. But you got to worry about left tackle. Left tackle was abused today. Wayne Morris, Suamatia, when he came back in, then they went back to Wayne Morris. I mean, it was bad. The Broncos were taking turns over there, just whooping the crap out of whoever was playing left tackle, and Mahomes got out of so many of them, whether it was throwing away or just feeling it at the right moment, but that led to the uneasiness and kind of the lack of surgicality on that Chiefs offense throughout the day too.
So they are now 9-0, the Chiefs, for a third time in franchise history, 2003, also 2013.
Wow.
9 straight wins now when trailing in the second half. So they are a team that when they are down in the second half 9 times in a row now, they're like, okay, that's a win for us.
They are breaking trends and things that you don't see in football. Like playing like shit for a full season and then going to win a Super Bowl, right? Like we saw last year. Mahomes, I believe, is the only quarterback in the history of football that has a winning record when losing the turnover margin. And then what? He has a great record when he's down by 10 points, playoffs, Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. But again, I think that just goes into them a little bit in that they play hard. They play 4 quarters of football, and they're going to make you play until that clock hits 0-0. That's what they are. And if they do make a mistake or do that, they have this unbelievable propensity or belief or what do you want to call it? Clear the mechanism where they can forget past mistakes and buckle down and play clean football in the biggest moments. And I think that's what's really big. And this one, hey, I will say this. They had a chance to go down and put the game away. They went up 16-14 late. Mahomes missed a touchdown pass to Travis Kelce that would have put them up, where Denver would have had to score a touchdown to win the football game. Yeah. That was a rare, it was there to be had moment that Mahomes didn't make in the clutch, but nonetheless, Leo Chanel, the special teams, they'd bail him out.
So I do want to show what it looks like in the viewing room. Because not a lot of people get to see this. I've been in there a couple times.
Let me just prequel this.
Okay.
I believe I'm the only person watching this game because everybody had moved on to go, they're going to kick the field goal, it's over, right? So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be this going to be the crazy psycho one, and maybe the sound. Pete's right. I don't think the sound was on this game, but
Matt Casey is back there.
They hit that pass, and then Matt Casey got there, and we went, okay, they're going to win the game. So everybody started to watch other games.
Move the sound to
something else. Move the sound somewhere else. There's other games on, whatever. We don't need to watch the 35-yard field goal, right? That's what you're thinking. I was watching, so let's see it.
So here it is.
I'm actually interested to see this. And if there's sound here.
Oh, and it's like, if there was sound, there you are. You stand up.
I stand up.
There are several F-bombs. So
I'm yelling at everybody. Oh, my gosh, they blocked it, if you want to hear what I was saying.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they blocked it. And now everybody's like, what? And I was like, the Chiefs. It's unbelievable. But there I am in the second row.
There you go. You pop up immediately.
Right, and you can see now Matt Casey's putting the sound on as he leans up as you see.
He knew he messed up at that moment. He knew he messed up.
there was a Steelers fumble. Matt Casey is here to defend himself as we slander him, and he says there was a Steelers fumble.
Yeah, inconsequential, though. Steelers ended up winning, so it didn't matter. So that was a look inside the viewing room there. You saw it right from the get-go. But I do want to talk about Bo Nix, and you mentioned him a little bit because we got a tweet here from Tyson Monroe who says, Bo Nix not only held his own, arguably outplayed Patrick Mahomes today. Are the Broncos a playoff team? So we can answer that question, but we have the dots also to Cortland Sutton, the 32-yard touchdown. But overall, there were some great plays on that potential game-winning drive, too, by Bo Nix.
Everything is going in the right direction for Bo Nix. We've seen them turn the corner with him from the early season struggles to where we got to that Tampa Bay Week 3, we saw some moments there. Raiders Week 5, and really from that point on, I felt like they don't have to manage him as much anymore, and they're able to run an offense. Now, it's not Drew Brees' offense, but when you play man-to-man right now, and they're throwing the ball down the field quite often in Denver, Cortland Sutton, they don't care. If he's man-to-man, they're going to attack. And you see here, he throws a perfect pass on a situation that we have talked about a lot on this podcast. 3rd and 1. There's no run. There's 10 guys in the middle of the defense. You're going to have a hard time running it. They are giving you the pass downfield. I like to see offenses trying to take advantages. They did this last week against the Baltimore Ravens on a 4th and 1, and he missed the throw for a wide-open touchdown. But Bo Nix, to our point and to our listener and what he's saying there, Tyson, he's looking good, and I'm excited about the future with Bo Nix. And you could tell that Sean Payton is too, with the kind of plays he's calling and the aggressiveness in which he's calling some of these pass plays. That, to me, is the impressive part. Like when I went like the Saints game, the Panthers game a few weeks ago, I was kind of expecting to turn on film and see like Drew Brees, dink and dunk, do. And I was sitting there going, damn. No, they're calling a lot of aggressive down the field throws. He's not perfect yet, but they got their starting quarterback for a long time in Bo Nix. I know that.
That TD pass was the first deep reception allowed by Trent McDuffie this season, so first time this year. Bo Nix was the first to do it, along with Cortland Sutton. The Broncos are 5-5.
Yes,
through 10 games for the second straight season. So they were here last year.
Yes, they were. This is a different,
clearly better.
Exactly right. Clearly better. This is a legit playoff caliber type defense, right? I don't want to say Super Bowl defense, but it's a playoff caliber, like really good playoff caliber. And even though the offense isn't super sexy and explosive, because like as we're saying right here, you know, Cortland Sutton's the only household name that people really know in the offense right now. There's not enough weapons. Next year, the weapons will come, and the offense will become dangerous. But between Bo Nix, the way he's playing, they are patient and physical running the football. Whether it's even working or not, they stay with it, which is the proper thing to do with your rookie quarterback. And you got a good defense and chew up the clock and do all that. And Sean Payton's good for 5 or 6 really awesome game plan plays every game to kind of give them a boost. So are the Broncos a playoff team, right? You know, Tyson Monroe wanted to know. I do think they're a playoff caliber football team. Whether they get in, I don't know. It's going to be really close. I think that last spot there, you know, between them, the Bengals, and really the Colts are kind of the 3 teams that I looked at will be in that race for that last one. I think it's going to come down to the Denver and the Bengals to who gets that last spot.
5-5, 9-0, Kansas City Chiefs.
Incredible 9-0.
The San Francisco 49ers are 5-4. It's been a little bit of a struggle, but they've had all their guys hurt. Yeah. Brandon Ayuk's still out, going to be out for the rest of the year, but you got Debo in there, you got George Kittle, and you got Christian McCaffrey back. And after all that, Brock Purdy goes off in this game for over 350 passing yards and a couple touchdowns and no interceptions.
Brock Purdy's maybe made more mistakes this year than we've seen the previous year and a half of his NFL career, but as we've said a few weeks ago, and I'll say it again, Brock Purdy's making more plays than ever before. Now, I know it's not perfect and it's not necessarily translating into wins, but what I will say with Brock Purdy, again, it's the non-Shanahan special plays that are still working in that offense that I find to be impressive. That tells me, he's going above and beyond the system. And here was a day where they outplayed the Buccaneers. The 49ers still are working out this disease of we try to game up ourselves every game.
Yeah.
Whether it's the 3 missed field goals or we drop a punt back up in our own area and give you a short touchdown, they're just a little sloppy in some of those areas right now where, they kind of find ways to mess things up in games where you're going, wait, you're almost double the amount of yards of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're making big plays. You're moving the ball up and down the field, and just so many of those drives came away with nothing because of the missed field goals and miscues and whatever else. But Purdy, when Christian McCaffrey is back, that offense just is wide open. That's the problem. I mean, it's wide open. It's hard to defend everything when he's there. They put you in personnel mismatch nightmare when he's there because they can be in base personnel with Juszczyk at fullback and McCaffrey at tailback and Kittle at tight end and Debo and Juwan Jennings at receiver, and you go, oh, no, we got to get a run defense there, stop them, right? And then the very next play, they can be an empty, and you go, oh, no, they can all run routes, and we got big people in to stop the run. We're in trouble. So Shanahan's got his, jack of all trades back. But Brock Purdy, big-time plays in the football game, clearly the better team on the field today. Yeah. But like we said, the mistakes, the missed field goals, some of the short fields they left Tampa Bay allowed them to hang in there, and they made some big plays and some big moments. And that damn Bucky Irvin, the running back for Tampa Bay, I really like him. He is awesome in the pass and adding more physical run ability than I thought he had coming out of Oregon.
So you mentioned it, Jake Moody, 3 missed field goals on the day, but did hit the game winner, the 44-yarder. It was a weird day for special teams in the NFL. We
dysfunctional,
some muffed punts and missed field goals. I think there were 10 total on the day. The 49ers, and there it is right there. You got Jake. He was the GOAT and the hero. Not a goat in a good way.
I give him a lot of credit.
They have an issue there. I know he's been hurt and he's coming back, but I mean there was a little bit of worries last year, and I always feel like when you draft a kicker, I almost feel like kickers can't handle that sometimes. It's like too much pressure, right? Well, it's already a lot of pressure to be a kicker. Then it's like we used a draft pick on you. You got to be better than everyone else.
It does seem to be that way. I don't disagree with you there. There are expectations, a little bit more of a bullseye on you, and your fan base always goes, what? We're going to draft a kicker in the 3rd round or the 4th round, and this guy's still on the board? And I do feel like, they feel that. They feel that. Let alone, he's coming off an injury, probably not really in a mid-season groove like the rest of the football teams or other field goal kickers that are out there. It was a rough day, but that was a big win for the 49ers. They got to keep pace with the Arizona Cardinals out there. And, the other thing the 49ers got to outscore people this year. They're not going to be able to just go, hey, defense, stop them to 10 or 14, and we'll win 24-14. They're not. This was an undermanned Bucs offense right here. And they still had some drives where you just went, man, that was easy. And, wow, holy cow, did Bucky Irving run through a hole and have a lot of space and make people look silly. The 49ers defense, I don't know if it's ever going to regain its form of what we've seen the last few years as far as dominance, but I think the offense has the chance to be the most explosive 49ers offense we've seen, and that's saying something. I'm dead serious in that. I'm excited to kind of see them go down the stretch here with a healthy full group and see what they can do. They have big-time potential.
They did hold Baker Mayfield to 116 yards, and Baker did have maybe my favorite play of the season so far when he stiff-armed Nick Bosa for like 10 yards laterally and still completed the first down pass.
I had the guts on Football Night in America because Nick Bosa's got to get in the weight room. I wouldn't say that to his face, but I could say it on TV.
Hopefully no one was watching that show.
I'll
have to see the ratings for that one.
Right.
Honestly, I was watching that play,
and
I didn't know it was Bosa at first.
Incredible.
And then after learning it was Nick Bosa, I was like, how does that even happen?
Yes.
He was one of my favorite players.
It was. And Baker's just so scrappy. He's tough as hell. He's thicker, stronger human being than people realize. Mm-hmm. I think that's the big thing. The other thing, too, hey, that Bucs defense, they're not very good. They did a good job of stopping the run today. What are you sneaky to? There goes the crew. They walked by.
Yeah, it seems like there's still something up their sleeve. There's something up their sleeve.
Somebody else is walking by, and he's got a smirk on his face too.
Here, let's
like this.
Let's shut the pod down for 5 minutes and just prepare ourselves.
But I will say this because this could be interrupted either way. The Bucs defense, the middle of the field, some of the passes that are let up. I mean, week after week, it's unbelievable how they get gashed. So I don't know. That was not very good.
Yeah.
But my head is still on a swivel here, and a good win for the 49ers.
Hey, it was so impactful last week. They might be just taking the week off. So
I hope they are, but now they got me concerned here. That was way too casual walking by like that.
49ers 5-4, all those injuries, kicking game woes, but they're still a very dangerous team.
And what about the play at the end to win it? Not to win it, but the play that tied that gave the 49ers 20 to make it 20-17. Though Purdy scrambled, buys time, throws the ball back in the end zone to George Kittle. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
There's more plays like that for Purdy this year.
Here's the dots.
Yeah. I mean, really holds the ball for 8 seconds, I would say. Stays in the pocket, is kind of patient, bouncing there. Nobody comes open. And then he finally goes, okay, I'm going to get outside the pocket here. And George Kittle does a great job of staying alive. And, I mean, it's a really damn good throw at the back corner of the end zone. A great job by George Kittle getting 2 feet down.
It's one of the more looping throws that Brock Purdy has.
He doesn't throw lasers.
No, he does now, but he's perfected the looping throw that somehow fits into a small window and does not get intercepted.
It's his vision, feel, and when you hear like timing, rhythm, right, and all of that. And Shanahan, I don't even think he would care if I shared this. This is the thing Shanahan has said to me before. Like, Purdy sees things like at a level where he's like, I don't know how he saw that quickly. Like, I'm amazed. He's amazed by it.
Yeah.
And he does have that gift, and that's what makes up for not having the laser arm or, some of those, like, wow traits that you see sometimes
Well,
in
I could see it, too, on some of those throws. And, like, the Kittle one, you're like, you throw it out. Like, quarterbacks would not feel comfortable. It's like, this is going to get picked off.
Yeah, right. But he drops it right where he needs to. Exactly right.
Best
exactly.
Spot, he did that.
Yes.
49ers do get the victory. Steelers get the victory over the Commanders by a point. This was a good game.
It was a good game.
28-27. There were some mistakes in this one, some of the punting game as well. But Pittsburgh now, that offense is rolling. They have scored over 30 points per game during their 4-game winning streak, and they get a win over a very hot Commanders team. What was your headline on this one?
Hot Commanders team. I mean, just never die. The quarterback again seems to always just pass every test. Now today was his toughest test though. Like, it wasn't easy today. Today was the first day you went, oh, yep, welcome to T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. They're not going to let you run around the edge as easy. Oh, welcome to Pittsburgh defense and Mike Tomlin. He's going to throw some crazy looks at you, and you're going to throw incompletions, right? So, it definitely was tougher today, but they still hung in there. They did, and really kind of weird game, like you said, in the fact that the Steelers looked like they were in total control early in the football game. They fake a punt, and it was the right call. The guy's wide open, and he drops the ball right along the sideline. And Washington gets the ball at the 12, 13, 14-yard line, and they go down and get a touchdown, and it's 7-7 just like that. But then not long after that, the Washington Commanders dropped the punt and gave the ball to the Steelers at the 15, and they went up 14-7. Then we kind of went to a period of the game where Washington really kind of controlled the tempo of the football game. And you went, oh, man, Pittsburgh, yeah, they're running the ball a little bit and changing field position a little bit here and there, but could get nothing going. And then, I mean, to me, what it looked like is that Russell Wilson finally started to be a little aggressive. They got Washington in some man-to-man situations, and it feels like when I watch Russell Wilson right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, like the old Russell Wilson with the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom. Play defense. Our special teams is good. We'll run the ball. And if we get man-to-man, we just want you to make a few big throws down the field every game, and that's all we want you to do. We don't care how efficient you are. We just need like 3 or 4 explosive, change the field position, touchdown throws a game, and he's delivering in that department right now, and you can see he's got a little connection working with George Pickens.
Yeah, and Mike Williams now, who's only been there since midweek. They acquired him Tuesday from the Jets, that 32-yard game-winning touchdown with just about 2 minutes left, and so it does seem like he's, when he's getting that one-on-one, he is throwing it up, and he's putting it in a perfect spot.
He's a very good deep ball thrower. He like we always talk about, he throws it out there and he throws it high and it lets the receiver go and get it. Again, I'm not sure if this can really work against maybe some of the top-tier defenses in football.
We always say that about the Steelers.
It feels that way, but I will say this. This feels better Steelers than the last few years. I don't know if I'm going to root against them to not make the playoffs this year. That's what I'm saying. They're 7-2.
You've never rooted against them to make the playoffs.
Well, I think I have.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I was just like, it's gonna be so boring,
yeah,
and we don't want to see them lose the wild card game in some ugly game.
Actually, you've done it multiple years.
I think 2 years in a row. You're remembering right now? Yes. So this year, no, I'm rooting for them because I actually think they can win games and make waves in the AFC playoff picture.
Warren getting back healthy and helping out that running game.
Totally.
That should be big.
Gives them a different look. I mean, it looks different when he has the ball. Harris can be that kind of plotter, physical guy, and then Warren's that guy that just, can explode and hit the hole about as quick as anybody in the game that way. So it does. It's a nice element to their offense, and of course he adds something to their pass game. But George Pickens, as you see, if they can run the ball like this and run the ball, Russell can make the expected throws happen, and then they'll take their shots when they present themselves. And right now they're capitalizing, and that's what we said, right, with Mike Williams on Wednesday on the podcast. I like this because now you got Pickens on outside, Mike Williams on outside, and you can put Calvin Austin or Freiermuth in the middle, and that's a pretty good 3 options. I don't think they're trying to reinvent the wheel there. They just want to be physical, take a few shots, play the game that way. Good win for the Steelers on the road there, coming back and being clutch.
With a minute left, though, it was 4th and 1 at midfield. Steelers trot the offense back out there. draw
What a
Washington,
play.
Johnny Newton offside. And I hate that this happened because
I
you
know.
know me. This is my least favorite play in football. Let's get him to jump offside and call timeout because I'm like, it's a waste of everyone's time. You go out there. We know what you're doing. It's never going to work. And then it works, and now we're going to see it for another 10 years.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate that this happened.
Yeah.
And so does Johnny Newton.
Well, I hear it, but you're right. This is the poster child of why we're going to see this every week for the rest of the year, though, because people are going to – every coach is going to go, let me show this to my team on Monday. See, offense, this is why we do this. See, defense, be disciplined. Don't do this. Don't be stupid like Washington. It felt like this was the hardest game of the year for Washington on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I will say. Just because, they had the big slant route to Terry McLaurin for a big gain. That was the most explosive play of the day. But the majority of the day was dink and dunk passes by Jaden Daniels. And he never looked totally comfortable. And this was also one of the first games all year I went, Washington didn't just run the ball at will like we've been so impressed by. They ran it okay, but – really, the big thing of the day was Washington's defense caused 2 turnovers when kind of Pittsburgh was moving the football with the Jeremy Chin interception, and he had a big return off that. And then I think it was Warren who fumbled one time as well, kind of in a pile of people. So Washington's a real good football team. There's no doubt about that. But Pitt's got a little mojo going right now. They certainly do.
Bum, 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 bum,
Look at that. He's doing his own updates because it's the Lions.
I just had a reaction. I mean, Jared Goff just threw a duck, and it was Jamison Williams. They got sandwiched in between 2 guys and somehow hung on to this. I mean, but he got twisted like a pretzel, so I hope he's okay.
I mean, really tough catch. It's
Dang.
actually the second really physical catch of the night he's had to make. And Jared Goff got hit in the head.
Right. There's got to be a flag.
It's a penalty all the time, except I don't understand right now. That is launching upward, crown of the helmet, into his head, period. So, it's we got a good football game right here. It feels like your Detroit Lions they're down 23-13, but I'm just going to say by what I feel sitting here watching it that they're going to make some miraculous comeback and win this football game. That's what it feels like to me. It does. It feels like they've got Houston's offense in a bind right now, and momentum is on your side. We'll see if he can capitalize. You got the ball at the 34-yard line going in. Screen pass to Montgomery.
This
He's
is a big
free
time
up the left
gainer down to the
sideline.
15.
He's
down to
down.
the 13-10. Out of bounds at the 9-yard line.
Out of the bounds at 9-yard line, like Ahmed Fareed in college football on a Saturday night when he catches a pass.
Hey, didn't you see? I got the touchdown in South Bend.
Yeah,
By the way, in South Bend, you are missed there because you were going there several years,
yes,
right?
Right.
The whole crew, they're like, hey, say hi to Chris for me. He said, we wish Chris was coming back here. And so
man.
you were missed in South
Thank
Bend.
you. That's nice of you to pass that along. They were a good group of people right there.
And Florida State will not be wanting to go back to South Bend anytime
No,
soon. That was
not.
pretty interesting. All right, let's go to the taking care of business part of this podcast here. Well, the Lions try to take care of business on this drive, and I'll try to keep focused as the Bills kept focused despite – I don't want to call it like a sloppy game, but Josh Allen did have a couple interceptions. Joe Flacco had 3. Dun, 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 dun. Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. Lions are coming back. Here they may go for 2, knowing Dan Campbell to make it a potential winning
They already chased points with 11
saying.
minutes left in the third quarter, which I don't agree with.
With.
What I would say right now is if you didn't chase points earlier, you'd have right now being in position to go, wait, we kicked the extra point, and the field goal would win the game for us now.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what they're going to do. I would hope that they just kick the extra point and keep it to a 3-point game. When you're the better team, I am a believer in just keep playing, play for the tie, whatever, because the better team, as we always know, the cream rises to the top, and I just think you'll eventually wear them down here.
3-point game with 11 minutes left. Yep. We'll keep you updated on a game. You already know the outcome, too. All right. The Bills, they won by 10 over the Colts. Joe Flacco, they made life miserable for him, and he made life miserable for himself, too. I'll give him some credit on that, too. The Bills are 8-2, their best start since 1993, which is a little bit surprising because they've been very good for many years in a row
since
here.
1993,
right?
That's impressive.
Isn't that crazy?
That's the year they went to their 4th Super Bowl in a row and lost to the Dallas Cowboys for the 2nd year in a row.
5-game winning streak. They've scored about 30 points per game in that streak, and I do want to give the Bills defense credit, though, because it's not all just Joe Flacco being sloppy with the ball. I mean, this Bills defense was opportunistic.
They made some plays. They did. I don't sit here and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think that this Bills defense is one of the top units in football, but I think that they're real good everywhere. They're smart, and as I always say, they're really well coached. That's the big thing. It's very rarely you're going to see them out of position or mess up. That's it. And it started the game with Turin Johnson, the pick six. I think it was the first throw of the game by Joe Flacco. That was impressive. I mean, it was early game Joe Flacco blunders that gave the Bills a 10-point lead. This was a game where it felt like if Flacco could limit some of the mistakes, honestly, that the Colts kind of had a little something on the Bills and knew how to move the ball. They were showing the ability to run the football. Flacco, when he did have time, showed the ability to kind of pick apart the Buffalo Bills defense. Where I worry about Buffalo's defense is, like I kind of just said, it's a lot of good. I don't know where it's great. Right, the defensive line pops up at times, but I don't know if I'm going to sit here and go, oh, their front four in a big football game against a big AFC team is going to be able to control a football game and get pressure on a consistent basis. And by me, I worry about their ability to play man-to-man. And here was a day where it felt like, yeah, Joe Flacco found holes in their zone. Shane Steichen's a pretty good OC, right, and creative plays and doing all that, to where they move the ball on the Bills' defense as well. But the Bills on offense have it going as well. I have to say that. I mean, we know it's not a good Colts defense. And Josh Allen, of course, with the way he plays, some of the amazing throws, the scrambles, and their ability to run the ball. They were good on third down today. It wasn't a picture-perfect football game by them, but I think a good overall total game win by them. It's weird where they were up 30-13 at one point, and it definitely didn't feel like they were 17 points better. It felt like that the Colts' mistakes really came back to bite them in the ass, and then Flacco wasn't Joe Flacco, which he holds the ball too long in the pocket at times and can be too aggressive throwing, that this game should have been a lot closer than it actually was.
Army Bills fan says damn okay to the Buffalo defense. Started off strong, then let Jonathan Taylor get going. He had over 100 yards rushing in the first half, but the second half, Buffalo held him to 7 yards rushing.
Yes, they did.
Missing a lot of key players on D, but they continue to rise to the occasion. Go Bills. I mean, the Colts have been hanging strong here. They got quarterback issues, we know. They're 4-6 right now, but they had a 3-game home winning streak, and this is actually the first time this season they have had a game not decided by one possession, so they've been in all games.
Yeah, they have been in all games. I know people are going to ask about Anthony Richardson here going forward. They're not going to do that yet.
Let me do it.
Okay.
Hey, what do you think? Should they do Anthony Richardson? Go back to that right now.
They're not going to do it yet.
Yeah.
I know enough from around the league that this goes beyond just, Anthony Richardson didn't throw the ball great. Okay? There's more to this story. I don't think Anthony Richardson was doing all the little things that you would expect the franchise starting quarterback to do. And that's where I think they're going to make him pay his penance a little bit and make him act accordingly, professional, whatever you want to say, before they just hand him back the starting job. And I think really it was Shane Steichen after the game today. He said, no, Joe Flacco's our starter until otherwise. That's it. So I think they're kind of setting an example with Anthony Richardson. He's still the future. They get that. I get that. But I've heard from too many people in lead circles, this is more than just, he's missing targets or he took himself out after a scramble. It's a little.
He needs to step up.
He needs to step up on the day-to-day preparation, diligence, whatever you want to talk about, and being a professional that way. And I think that's also what they're trying to get straight here as well.
That's interesting because that was really never a concern with him coming out.
He's a good kid. He's a good kid. It's not like it's bad, but it's, again, I just sometimes when you're young, you don't realize what it is to be an NFL starting quarterback.
It's a different level.
It's a different level. And you don't also understand that everybody's watching you. So when you walk into the team meeting a few minutes late, or you're a little late for this or that, like, people notice and they start to go, Andy missed those throws. Andy missed the checks. And I think that's what they're trying to get him on the right track there. They
go, Joe Flacco's been here since 4 a.m. because old people don't sleep.
That's right. Exactly right. Exactly right. What did I want to say? I wanted to say one more thing. Well, Allen, when they were down 13-10 to the Colts, Allen made some absolute baller throws to bring them down and score to go up 17-13. And then before the half, he had a scramble, get out of Dodge, get out of jail, run to the right, and found Mac Hollins in an incredible throw on the run, bomb down the field, where Mac Hollins went to the ground to catch it and should have caught it and probably ran for a touchdown. But nonetheless, he caught it. He went to the ground, then got up and ran out of bounds. And they kicked a field goal. That, to me, was a big moment in the game where it was a late drive and then, the half's going to be over. Wow, they're going to get a field goal, and they go up by 7 points instead of being down by 3 or maybe only up by 4 points. I thought that was a huge swing and momentum swing in the football game.
Bills, they win again. Again, best start since 1993 for them. That's pretty surprising. The Eagles. They win again, 34-6 in Dallas. Things have fallen apart.
Yeah, of course.
It's over.
Are you
It's
shocked
over.
by this outcome?
No, Dak, not at all.
No.
We called this in the Buzz Watch.
Yeah.
And I actually think I overestimated how buzzworthy this was. Because once the Eagles won this game, it was like, well, yeah. Especially without Dak. It's just like, well, what are the Cowboys going to do? We already know. We know who they are at this point.
Right.
And they've shown it once again. But the Eagles, we think, are a trending upwards team.
I
right
think
now.
so. The only thing that holds the Eagles back is and Jalen Hurts has not done this, but you saw the turnovers tonight, and that kept the game close for a little bit. Let's see, he had the fumble, and then he had the interception right close to the end zone that hurt them. And, yeah, in the end zone. I'm right about that. But either way, I mean, the Eagles are in a different class than the Dallas Cowboys. And like I kind of said last week, the Eagles, it doesn't wow you when you watch film like with the X's and O's and scheme, right? It's not about that. It is about the Jimmies and the Joes. But with their X's and O's, they know what they're good at. They execute it, and they're so damn good it doesn't matter. And it's a simple formula like we've talked about. It's run the ball, and then Jalen Hurts goes, okay, there got extra people in the box. Let me throw a slant out here to A.J. Brown. Let me throw a go route to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown and whatever. And their defense is rounding into form. Here's another thing we got to talk about with them. I got you. The rookies, Quinyon Mitchell at corner, right? Quintanamo Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, my guy from Iowa,
Cooper DeJean.
I'm blown away by how Cooper DeJean looks and playing.
You were not high on Cooper DeJean coming out.
And again, I'm not going to just cut off my nose to spite my face and prove my draft thing right. No, I was wrong about how dynamic he is.
What has he done?
He's a little looser in the hips as far as better in coverage than I thought, but it's really not that. It's just the overall football player. He has got a great knack. He knows where to go in the run game. He's a great open field tackler. He hustles sideline to sideline. You see screens and toss sweeps, and you go, who the hell was that in there? Oh, damn, that's Cooper DeJean.
He's tough.
He's
player.
tough. He knows how to play
player.
ball. He's a football player. That's like, we talk about like your Brian Branch in Detroit. It's that kind of guy.
Yep.
Can play a lot of positions, and you're just like, I'm glad he's in our secondary. We don't know how we're going to use him this week, but his coverage skills are better than I expected. But, yeah, the Eagles are a super talented team, and I think, of course, one of the best football teams in the league. The only thing that's going to hold them back is what I said. I mean, they drive down the field. Hurts throws an interception in the end zone. They were backed up one time, and Micah got his hand in there, got the strip sack, and I think that was what led to the second field goal for the Eagles to make it 7-6. But they play a clean game after that. It's the domination. Eagles are, I think, clearly the second best team in the NFC.
So, yeah. Were you guys talking about this on football night?
A little.
Or you were talking about the AFC.
I asked about the
top
AFC.
Three. That's right.
I did, about who they liked, who the guys liked after the Ravens and the Chiefs.
So you think Detroit won, Philadelphia 2?
I don't think there's any question right now in the NFC. In fact, I think those two are in a separate class from the rest of the NFC. There's some teams there have the potential to be up there in that class, but they're not playing the quality of football either one of those are right now. So, yes, I'm pretty impressed. And the biggest thing to me with the Eagles is the way the defense looks. Vic Fangio looks like he's got those guys buying in, and they're playing the right way, and they got all the Dick Fangios, Fangio and Dick Fangio stuff working.
yeah, his brother's out there, and Blake, it's all working for me too.
It's late. Sorry.
For Dallas, it's a 4-game losing streak. They've allowed 35 points per game, and even with Micah Parsons back, they don't have enough. It's falling apart. Do you want to coach the Cowboys next year?
No.
Would you like to do that?
Well, sure. If they, they pay a lot of money to be a coach in the NFL.
If asked to serve, you would serve.
Yes, I would. Yes, I probably would. I'd have to go to NBC and go, wait, NBC, will you give me a pay raise before I go? Because maybe I'll stay. If it's a pay raise. If we can get in the ballpark, maybe I'll stay because I like my job with you and everything else.
Yeah, I think you'd still have to do the college football. I don't know what your deal says, but I think you'd still have to come back for that. But we'll see about that.
Coach the Cowboys and then come back and do the Saturday. You got to do Saturday Big Ten.
Unless you want to pay the buyout. All right, so we want to take a look at some of the other games here. Cardinals, wow, they look pretty good. Vikings did not look good, but they still got the win. We got to talk about those games and much more with Give Me the Headlines and a lot still to go on this Sunday pod. Chris Sims Unbuttoned right after this. Welcome back to Chris Sims Unbuttoned. It is time for Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. This is, you know the drill. But I don't need to explain it to the homies out here. We're in week what? What are we, week?
Yeah, I don't know.
10,
You sound like you're
something like
confused
that.
about the drill a little bit. And you're
So
trying
what do
to
we do?
blame it on the homies.
What
That's
do we
what
do
it sounds
here?
like.
We go into the printing press. We're doing the newspaper. We have to come up with a headline.
Yes, we do.
We got 2 games, and then we don't have to write the stories, I guess, right? Do we? Oh,
no, they
that's
write
what
the
you
stories
do.
for us.
They go word for word from what you say. They're just stenographer. Cardinals defeat the Jets. Oh my gosh, 31-6. Your headline for this one is
Desert Storm. Yup, that's right. The Jets flew into a dusty desert storm, and it was a crash, and their damn season's over. See you later, New York Jets. And there's a storm brewing for the damn Cardinals, and they're hot right now.
So we had a debate before the pod, but with Pete here, we go. Well, we got to make the headline about the Jets here, right? Like they've crash landed here. I was like trying to make some plain joke, which are hard to make because it's not that funny. 3-7 they are right now, and but Pete, I think rightly said, come on, Cardinals 6-4, first place. I mean, this is a resounding win against a team that I actually thought would show something and be like, oh, we're not done yet with the Jets, and the Cardinals did not let them do that.
I'm not going to lie. I agreed. I would have thought that the Jets would have put definitely a more competitive effort in this football game. Let's start with the Cardinals because the Jets want to make me puke right now, okay? It's like I don't even know where to start with that.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals, we've used the phrase a little bit the last few weeks as far as like know who you are. And they do. First off, their defense is well coached. They're smart. It's not a creative offense that they had to defend today in the New York Jets. We know that. But that's where I like Gannon and that side of the football. And they're physical and tough. They are. But today, it looked like they played a game of like we don't think the Jets will stay consistent with the running game, and we're not going to let Garrett Wilson and company beat us. That looks like the way they played, at least to me on TV, trying to watch 2 other games at the same time. And then their offense is in a groove right now. I mean, Kyler Murray is balling. Absolutely. This was a game where I thought maybe Arizona would be able to run the ball on the Jets and do that, but really it was the opposite. They came out and couldn't run the ball quite well at first, started to throw the ball. That kind of opened up the field. Then they got some runs as the game went on. But the story is the pass game, Kyler Murray making plays, scrambling a little bit, but dicing them up with big plays in the pass game, whether it was Marvin Harrison or James Conner. The first touchdown of the game was just a little swing pass screen, and he ran for a 44-yard touchdown pass and was like barely touched one time. But you could Kyler's in a groove, and he feels comfortable in the offense, and I think they have found the way of how they want to work McBride off of Harrison with the running game and all of that. Pretty impressive right now. Arizona, never thought I'd be saying it. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl or all that, but they are a low-level playoff, NFC playoff football team. There's no doubt.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 6-4 right now. I think we have the passing chart for Kyler Murray in this one. 22 of 24 with that touchdown. Each of his last 17 passes were complete. The odds of Murray, this is according to Next Gen Stats. We're going deep into the stats.
Right.
The odds of Murray completing each of his past 17 passes based on the probability of each attempt was 1 in 408.
Wow. 1 in 408?
That he would complete his last 7 based on where he was throwing it and the defender was and all that.
Gosh, well, I mean, he's off the back foot throws. The throw he throws to Trey McBride down the left sideline, he's basically falling backwards and chucks it up to him. It probably would have been a walk-in touchdown. They had the right approach. You could tell, I thought, early on. And the other thing, too, this is what benefited the Cardinals. The Jets don't play man-to-man. And the Cardinals, as we've talked about, are not the best at separating for man-to-man coverage, but they had a plan and knew how to kind of work this Seattle 3 Jets scheme. You could tell there was understanding of doing that. And then also with the plan of attack, they took some calculated shots down the field. Other than that, it was we're going to throw the ball underneath because they're going to play their Seattle 3 and back out and play 3 deep zone. And that's where the backs got involved in the passing game and doing all that. And the thing I like about Arizona is they stay patient with the run and they stay with it. They're going to be physical and chew up some clock and do that and protect their defense that way. So very impressive for them to be 6-4. Never thought they'd be there.
And you mentioned the defense too. Last 2 games, 15 points allowed. They have not allowed a touchdown in the last 2 games, 9 sacks, 1 takeaway. And to set you up on the Jets, just real quick.
Right.
Tylen tweeted at you, goes, damn, the Jets will never be good. And Aaron Rodgers is a fraud. And okay, it's time for new ownership. That's a Jets fan.
There's a lot of issues. Aaron Rodgers is no longer what he used to be, as I've been trying to tell everybody for about 2 or 3 years now. That magic's gone. And there definitely was a few plays today, again, where I'm not trying to, like, get on him too hard, but I saw a few plays, at least in replays, where I went, oh, you should have thrown that ball down the field or down the middle, and instead we threw it underneath for 4 or 5 yards or incomplete or whatever else. There's that. And ultimately, I do get to blame ownership a little bit because, yeah, the Robert Saleh firing was bad. It was stupid. It was bad timing. It wasn't the right move at that moment of the lifeline of this football team. It wasn't time to cash in chips and go, oh, we need to change the mojo or the mantra of the football team. And they've looked lost ever since. The defenses look horrible. They've lost their edge. That's the most disappointing thing to me is the defense. It's inability to stop the run. They don't tackle well. I mean, how many times did Arizona break tackles today? Holy crap, there was a lot of them. I don't like what they do on defense, as I've told you in the past. I'm sick of that Seattle's 3 scheme all the time. It's ridiculous. They're throwing a fade in the back of the end zone to Marvin Harrison Jr. You know who the perfect matchup for Marvin Harrison Jr. is? Sauce Gardner. But no, they're playing their Seattle 3, some stupid matchup zone, and they got, Reed covering them 1-to-1, who's 1-on-1, who's 5 inches shorter than him. There's a lot of bad right there in New York right now. They're not tough. They're not physical. They're not creative on the offensive side of the ball. And their defense, which is supposed to be good and physical and flying around, is not. And it's over. The season's over for the Jets.
You want to coach the Jets?
No.
You want to do that one? You would not do. That one you would, that one you can't. You can't do that one. All right, so that one is in the books. Cardinals, good job.
Yep.
Keep winning. Vikings, they got to win.
Yeah, they
It was
did.
not pretty.
What?
Would not have been pretty no matter who won this game. They beat the Jaguars 12-7. Your headline for this one is?
Saving Sam.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they had to save Sam from himself. Sam was trying to relegate himself into being a backup quarterback forever today. I mean, that's what was trying to happen. They were bad interceptions. I don't know what else to say. You know me. I'm a defender of Sam Darnold because I think there is good. I see quarterback starting potential type talent, but sometimes I don't think there's starting quarterback potential type feel or thoughts that go on in his brain in big moments in the football game, if that makes sense.
No, that was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Well,
but
I know, because there's I didn't know quite how to just a knack for how to play the position certain times where I just go, what are we doing? I mean, 3 interceptions on the day, all 3 are bad. The first 2, I mean, they move the ball down the field, tries to jam a ball into Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's covered like glue, and it's a 4-yard throw. And he throws a really hard ball popped up in the end zone. Then they drive down again. They're inside the 5-yard line, and he's got time, and he's kind of moving around in the pocket trying to find somebody. Throws a really bad interception where Justin Jefferson was open for the touchdown, and he missed the throw. So those were 2 early games where you just go – they could have been up in this game and put Mac Jones and Jacksonville in a spot where it's like night, this game's over, but instead we were in a slugfest throughout because, Sam Darnold was a little sloppy throughout.
J. Sally 1054 says to you, what is happening with Sam Darnold? Are the other teams figuring out what his tendencies are? He looks like he's seeing ghosts again, and yes, he'll never live that down.
No, he's I talked about it a little last week. There's a sticking on the first read too long, which I want to say I believe just because the first 5-6 weeks it was open so much. So you're going, wait, I've been rewarded for this so many times. I'm going to throw this again. I'm going to wait for him. Not getting off certain reads, right? At times holding the ball in the pocket too long, going, hey, the play's over. Get out, move, get out of the pocket. Don't sit there and try to slide and make some crazy awesome throw that's just not going to happen or not realistic. I think there's a little bit of that and then a little bit of him pressing altogether. But all 3 interceptions today were trying to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson and forcing it to him in moments where you go, wait, you don't need to force it. They're not going to stop you today. 400 yards of offense, 42 minutes in time of possession. They totally controlled the football game, and they won 12-7. And that's because of bad mistakes by Sam Darnold, and they're in a funk right now on the offensive side of the ball because of bad mistakes by Sam Darnold the last few weeks, really.
Curbio Analytics says, should the Vikings sign Ryan Tannehill? Yes or yes. Darnold has all the time in the world, but he continues to make terrible decisions.
Well, I think teams are a little on Kevin O'Connell and some of the things he does. I will say that. I don't think people have been just like scorching wide open like we saw maybe the first 2 years of Kevin O'Connell's career. And I will blame a little bit of he's played some defenses that I think know him as far as the Rams and the Lions because they've played him so many times over the last few years that's given a little bit of a blueprint and what to do there. But no, you got to ride this out with Sam Darnold right now. You're 6-2. He's going through a little bad stretch right now. You got to ride it out and see if he can turn the corner and he can get some momentum going back in the positive direction and see if he can go from there. But we'll see. It's ugly. And listen, I don't even know if they would have won this game today if it weren't for the Jaguars just being stupid too. I mean, Mac Jones fumbles a snap back in his own area when the game, I believe, was 9-7. And then late in the game, it's 12-7. They got the ball at the midfield. It's first down. He just chucks a ball up. Jump ball, interception, game over. See you later. So, ugly football game there all the way around.
Yeah, the prettiest thing was maybe the celebration after that last Mac Jones turnover, the interception there by Cameron Bynum.
Yeah.
He does the ray gun dance, and we all know ray gun from the Olympics and breaking, which made its one and only appearance in the Olympics. It will be done now. And there's, if you're watching on YouTube or on Peacock,
that's my favorite move right there. I don't know what that move is. Is that like Michael Jackson Thriller?
That's what I feel like.
Or Pete saying it's a Velociraptor, which I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But it looks like Thriller-ish.
Whenever I talk to someone about the Olympics now, they're like, oh yeah, you did the Olympics. How about that breaking? It's the first thing that everyone says.
I'm amazed by the attention it constantly gets. I really am. I'm like, I hear people talk about it all the time.
Yeah. All right. And that was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. All right, so get those papers out. We got enough. We got a couple of headlines.
Oh, yeah.
Got a couple stories.
Yeah, people are dropping nickels everywhere for those papers.
Something happened in an election last week. Throw that in there, too. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, underdogs bite back. The underdogs are doing it again in the NFL. We'll talk about that right after this. Welcome back to Chris Sims Unbuttoned. It is time for Home Team Help presented by Lowe's. Chargers defeat the Titans 27-17. We'll get into all the reasons why the Chargers won, and there are a lot of them in this one, but we want to spotlight someone who may not be getting all the love. It's a guy who you gave love to in the draft process a couple years ago. Deion Henley had a team-high 13 tackles, his first career sack. He has 38 tackles his last 3 games.
We talked to him a little bit on our Pick 6 Wednesday podcast.
We did.
They're an impressive defense. They might not have like a household superstar on their defense, but they got a lot of good A- and A's on their football team. I mean, if there's just a way to explain that. But he in the middle of the field, and then when they got Derwin James, which he is down by the line of scrimmage in a linebacker-type position all the time, man, that's an athletic, aggressive, physical group. Let alone the big people on the defensive side of the D-line. They got smart corners. They got fast secondaries who can match safeties that can match up and play some man-to-man. The Chargers are quietly becoming like one of my favorite teams. Yeah, I always like one ugly team a year, right? Like when I say ugly, where it's defense, it's just physical, it's a little grimy. It might be like old school New York Giants. Maybe that's how I grew up, and that's what I like. It's like we're going to play D, and we're going to ask Phil Simms to just throw a 20-yard laser and jam it the in there every now and then, and that's what Justin Herbert does. And they remind me of that, and I like watching them play. And I know what I'm going to get from them week in and week out. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're going to run the football. Their defense is going to be really sound and physical and have like a splash, sizzle, blitz or whatever every now and then. And then they're kind of going to lull you to sleep with boring offense. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, okay, now let's do it. Let's call the 40-yard pass. It's time. He hit it. Oh, they're down there close to scoring. I mean, that's kind of what they're doing right now. 14 completions for 164 yards. They're not into super sexy numbers and all that. They're just going to win the game, beat you to death, beat you to a pulp, and then they score when they get down there close to the end zone. They're impressive right now and one of the most consistent teams in the sport.
I can pinpoint the moment that you fell in love.
Yeah, what do you think it was?
I know exactly what it was. It was 8:10 to go in the first quarter. First drive of the game for the Chargers. They get down there to the 2-yard line, 4th and 2. And what does Jim Harbaugh do? Trots out the field goal unit.
Yeah, attaboy, Jim. We just want to win the game. We're not trying to win the game on the first quarter with 8 minutes left. We're just going to slowly beat them to a pulp. You're exactly right. You're like, funny. Yes,
here we go.
The field goal made me very proud early on in the football game.
Charger Man 89 says, "Damn, they let Justin Herbert leave the pocket for once too. So maybe they're even expanding the offense and what they let him do."
He had a touchdown run in the football game. We saw like a little bit of a Colin Kaepernick type run off the edge. They're good in special teams. They had a good kick return that set up one of their touchdowns, and their defense is, quite honestly, as we know, it's one of the best in football, if not the best. And that Tennessee Titans offense, Will Levis had a few moments today. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it didn't look like the bad Will Levis that we saw early on in the season before he got hurt. He did make some wow throws. He made a few wow runs in a few moments. I mean, he's definitely their best option at quarterback and makes them the scariest. But with them, right, they're not consistently good at running the ball right now. And the quarterback play is not consistently good. It has moments here and there. And then really you only have to worry about Calvin Ridley in the pass game. There's just not enough people on that side of the ball to make that Titans offense really go.
Chargers 6-3 right now. They are second in the AFC West ahead of Denver.
6 sacks they got today.
6 sacks.
Yeah.
Well done. That defense is scary. And that was Lowe's home team help. Thanks again to our friends at Lowe's.
What up, Lowe's?
Dun, dun, da, 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 da. So we got a minute to go here. The Lions just converted a crucial 3rd down to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
They're Mr. Steady, go-to guy.
Well, first off, they missed the 58-yard field goal. Did we explain that to the fans?
We did not explain that. No. The kicker missed it. There we go. We've explained it.
Missed the 58-yard field goal to give the Lions the ball in basically very good, almost field goal position.
Okay, so this I don't like. So this I've never liked, right? So now we're at, the 35 or so. We're now settling for a 50-ish yard field goal. That I don't dig.
Yeah, it's a tough one here. I hear you. You got 2 timeouts. They got nothing left.
It looks like Dan Campbell's going to take this one down.
He's going to call a timeout, and they're going to figure out a play that they want to run here and maybe discuss something that you're talking about. Do we want to try to get a chunk play here to really make it a much easier field goal?
So they're not doing that.
Or they're going to run it down, and they're going to kick the 52-yard field goal. You're right. Here it comes.
He goes, "What are you doing? Why did you do that?" Oh, the referee stopped it with like 2 seconds on the play clock, and Dan was like, "I want it with like 3 seconds on the game clock."
So, all right, Jake Bates, you got a stat for me? Is he good from this range, or is there a range from 51 to 53? Because I'm referring for all those who are wondering. These were the things he argued about the NFC Championship game last year. When they kicked the field goal. So, you want to give us the scouting report here?
He's been very good this year, and there were concerns, right? And he came from the USFL.
Yeah, the USFL or whatever the hell they call that league now.
Kicked the 60-something-yard field goal at Ford Field.
Right.
And my son was watching that game. He was, "The Lions should sign that guy." I was like, "That's not how it works, buddy.
Apparently it is how it works.
It is how it works, actually." And he's been very good. Already won a game. So can he win the second one for him?
Here
4 seconds to go.
Up. Are they going to ice him is really going to be the question
Well,
here.
Houston can't. No, they have no more timeouts.
No, you're right. No timeouts.
So here we go. So 52-yard field goal. I don't love that.
He's going to make it. He's going to knock it in right inside the left upright right here. I'm pretty confident. I feel good about it.
It is up. Oh my gosh! By an inch.
Right inside the left upright.
Oh my gosh! He's done it again.
And what's amazing is his last field goal was barely inside the right upright. Right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
same
that?
thing.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my gosh! The Houston Texans scored 0 points in the second half. Props to the Lions defense. Dan is shouting in the ear of DeMeco Ryans right now. They're carrying Jake Bates off the field. He is a hero.
26-3, 26-23, 8-1. Way
team
to
of,
go.
yeah, team
It
of
does.
destiny.
It does
we
feel
can now call them
destiny-ish.
that. You know, it's an outlawed phrase here at NBC, but the Lions now do qualify as a team of destiny. We've got that phrase back working again. And he knew it, too. Look at that little body English.
Yeah, I don't know how much he knew. Holy cow. You be sure, did that nick the left upright? I'm not even sure. That was so close. It's incredible.
He might have
It
meant
might
to
have
do
nicked the flag, right?
It's
Is
so
that
it barely
right?
touched the other one on the previous kick, and this one just goes,
Oh, it didn't. It
Maybe
didn't nick it, but it was really close.
wow.
Wow, big win. All right, come on, get focused. Get your game face on here,
Well,
man.
do you want to just do that now? Should we
For
just
sure.
Yeah,
Let's do it now.
Let's do it.
Come
Let's
on.
break down our Sunday night game. The
Let's
Lions.
start it.
Dun dun da 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 da. So here we go. My Detroit Lions.
Your thing at the end is not right. Da-da-da.
What
Like,
how is it
you got to
supposed to
get
go?
that straight. Like,
Someone did comment on that. They go, "Hey, it's funny that he works at NBC and
and you
can't
know,
do it right."
your end part
I
is
was like,
that
it's
dun 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 dun.
Oh, dun 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 dun.
There we go. That's closer. There we go. You're coachable.
Okay, all right. It's pretty close.
Or
though,
you
Pete.
just go
Pete says it's
dun
not
dun
right.
dun 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 and just end
I'll
it
just
there.
do that.
Right.
Dun
Okay.
dun 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 dun.
Stop. There we go. See. All right. See. So somebody noticed.
Dun
Commenting.
dun. That's it. That's all I
NBC
need to
pays
do.
you all this money. You can learn the damn jingle.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I've got very close. It's very close. The Lions,
Yeah.
very close again, but
Right.
they got this one. 26-23. They win a game where they were down big going into the second half, a game where Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions. I think I saw a stat. First team to win a game where they're down 2 touchdowns and 5 picks since like 1970. So it's a weird way to win a game.
7 picks in the game.
You can't kill this team.
No, you can't kill this team. But it's almost like we talked about with the Chiefs earlier. It's like you guys are a team where, yeah, you lose a turnover battle, but you're still so damn good, it doesn't really matter. It never producer Matt Casey's sitting here not far behind us, and he does Football Night in America. And he asked even at halftime, he's like, what do you think? What's the breakdown of the game? And it's like, I mean, the Texans have been good, but it just feels like more like Detroit messing up. I mean, that's all there really is to say about it. The game started with an interception by Jared Goff, which we hadn't seen. Jalen Petrie made a nice play, right, on that one. We had then the Lions get the ball back, and they got to punt it, and the Texans have a really good punt return that brings them almost into field goal range. So it's like 10-0, and you guys haven't even gotten warmed up in the football game yet, right? You go down, you score a touchdown. The Texans go down and get a field goal, and then you had another Lions interception where the ball got tipped up in the air by Jared Goff, and that led to 16-7 by the Houston Texans. So what I'm saying is, like, it never felt like Houston was like systematically destroying your defense in the football game. It felt like they were putting some positions there that were like, hey, get a few first downs here. You're in field goal range, and maybe you can get a touchdown. So that's where I guess is that the Houston Texans blew the football game, and the fact that they were only up 23-7 at half, and it probably should have been greater than that. It definitely should have. And we saw, again, as the game went on, Houston, the same issues. People can't get open. We saw C.J. Stroud. I know I wasn't sitting here watching every second and every detail of the second half because we're sitting here doing the pod, but he was under pressure a lot. And every throw I looked at him throw, I went, oh, he just snuck it in there. Or he was running and trying to protect his or save his life from the pass rush in Detroit. So they have issues there. This game didn't unfold nearly to how Detroit wanted it.
No.
You never got a chance to kind of be in an even game or even have the lead to where you would have, as this game would have gone on, and we saw this a little in the fourth quarter, the more you got to lean on them and run the ball on them, they're a small defense. They were starting to wear down. We were starting to see you guys have your way running the football game, but big-time resilient win. 5 turnovers, still win the football game on the road in Houston. That's pretty damn impressive.
I mean, I would not have guessed that defense would have been able to hold the Texans to 23. And I know that the offense was putting the defense in some bad spots, but it looked like Houston had some things figured out.
Like early on, it felt like C.J. Stroud, okay, he's got a little mojo. They got to go in here.
They got a good game plan.
It seemed like it. But, again, I think the ability for you guys to squash the run, and then I think as the game goes on, and this is where you guys are really well coached with Aaron Glenn and Jason Campbell, you're good adjusters.
Yeah.
So they start to go, okay, wait, we got the run. We're good. All right, so what are they beating us in the pass game? Oh, okay, they're doing this and they're doing that. Okay. I got some coverages that'll give that issues, and that's what you see from Detroit usually on a week-to-week basis. Ben Johnson, great adjustments usually on the offensive side of the ball. Same goes for Aaron Glenn on that side of the ball. Your defense is – again, it's not like the best in football, but it's big and physical up front. and
made plays.
They
Carlton Davis.
make plays. McNeil again pops up everywhere. Yeah, and your secondary, you play zone. You don't have great man-to-man guys, but you got a lot of guys that are good football players and know, like, oh, wait, they're doing this to us on offense. And you got guys that have ball skills. Carlton Davis, like you talked about. Brian Branch has incredible ball skills.
Kirby Joseph has
good ball skills. So when the ball does get tipped up or, oh, no, the quarterback on the other team's going to make a bad read, you guys make them pay with interceptions and make it happen that way. It's one of the impressive things. Not your best night of football, that's for sure, but good teams win when they get outplayed, and you guys, I don't want to say got outplayed, but certainly didn't play real great tonight.
I saw Jim Thompson, who we work with, a fan of the pod. He's a homie, and he works in the room with you. He goes, "You worried about your team?" It was at halftime, and I was like, you know what? It's like the Lions they're not going to play perfect all season long, but I have so much faith in like the coaching staff, the talent on the team. As long as they stay healthy, it's like they can win any game they play. They can win any game unless there's a trend.
Yeah, no, and you could attest to me. The Lions have gotten to a point where I sat down here at the podcast and they were down 23-13, and I said, "This feels like a Lions are going to win this by 3 or 4 at the end of the football game."
Yep.
That's what it felt like. But that's how good you guys are, and there's just not enough answers on that Houston offense, like we've talked about. Houston's defense is fast and they fly around, and I think that's what caught your Lions offense by surprise a little early on in the football game. But once they adjusted, you saw they had their way. Not one of Jared Goff's best games, but again, find a way to win the football game. Your guys are like the damn Kansas City Chiefs. You just find ways to win, except you've been doing it more dominantly throughout the year.
Lions 8-1, best record in the NFC, and the Houston Texans fall to 6-4. Still 2 games up on the Indianapolis Colts as everyone else in the AFC South. Not great.
No, not great. Not a great division.
We got more games to talk about. We'll pick up the pace on these ones a little bit. The underdogs bite back. The Saints get a surprising win over the Falcons 2017. Congrats to the interim head coach, Darren Rizzi.
Yeah, Rizzi.
So he said
he's from
this.
Jersey. He's a crazy that's what he is.
So this is what he said. This is what he said post-game, Pete.
Yeah.
He goes, he clogged the toilet in the coach's locker room this morning and thought, well, this is going to be a crappy day, pun intended.
Yes.
He is like what they would cast someone to play Dan Campbell in a movie. Like that is what actual Dan Rizzi is.
Yeah, it's he's a ball of energy like most special teams coaches are. He understands football. He knows how to motivate players and rally them together. That's usually what all special teams coaches can do, right? They're really good at that because they got to communicate with offense and defensive guys and make it all work for special teams. So they got great relationships that way. And I think teams feed off of that type of energy. We saw that today. It's like where the hell did this Saints team come from? Right, we saw some flaws in Atlanta that we knew maybe were there. The fact that they can't rush the passer all that well, and Derek Carr had time to make big throws and bombs down the field to, wait for this, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, okay?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we hadn't seen the Saints offense look like this in quite some time. And really, the other side of it was the first time in a few weeks where you just felt like Kirk Cousins wasn't just having his surgicality way, right? Surgeon General Hospital, just working his way down the football field. They hit some lulls in the game. He threw the interception. But more or less, I think what they're going to look back at, and it's unfortunate, is the missed field goals in the football game. That's where they blew it. I know they lost 20-17, but we're not used to seeing Koo miss some of the field goals he missed.
That was weird.
It felt like if he makes those, this is maybe a 3-point victory for the Atlanta Falcons, but he was off his game today.
One was blocked.
Right, one was blocked.
There.
That's right.
6-4, though, for the Atlanta Falcons here. And you still look at that team, and you're like, man, they got playmakers everywhere. They got Bijan Robinson. You go Drake London, almost had 100 yards. Mooney almost had 100 yards as well. Pitts makes a couple big plays. And so, state of the Falcons real quick. I mean, the
Falcons are good. They're just not. They're not great. They're not dominant. They're not super explosive in their passing game, right? They really kind of want to just work the ball down the field, 8-10, 5-8-10 in the passing game, and then run the football that way. That can make it hard at times. They are good at running the football. We know that with that O-line, and Bijan Robinson had some incredible runs today. He did, but it's just common opponent in your division who knows some of your tricks and what you try to do in certain moments and all of that. Big win for New Orleans. I didn't think there was any chance they would look the way they did today.
The New England Patriots get a win Another one. They beat the Bears 19-3. The Bears now, during their 3-game losing streak, have scored 9 points per game. So basically, the moment that you said that you were on board with what you had seen previously, and to your credit, to your defense, Bears looked pretty good before this 3-game losing streak. They have been terrible ever since that moment.
Bye week, totally lost it. Totally lost it. Did I think I told you, right? Was this on the podcast last week? I was
We
on
did
the
talk
team,
a
right?
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It can happen. You lose your but they look totally lost right now. And I'd be lying to you to tell you that they don't look like they're even playing or believe they can win football games or playing with the same physical recklessness that I love the way the Bears played early in the year or late last year. You know, and you hear questions and certain people in the locker room, you don't like the answers I'm hearing when they're asking about, does Matt Eberflus lost control of the locker room or lost control of the team? The answer should be definitive no. And we're hearing, oh, I'd like to think not, or next question and stuff like that makes me think that there are people in the locker room questioning leadership and everything that way. Caleb Williams has lost his way right now. The offense certainly not making plays, but not protecting well. Can't run the ball, as we've talked about. I don't see some of the motions and formations we saw before the bye that I was so impressed by. That's gone. And then there is, even in this game, a few plays where I go, people are open and Caleb Williams is waiting for a bigger play. And that's just not how things roll in the NFL.
I mean, that was the worry.
That was
right?
the worry.
With college Caleb.
And unfortunately, he's learning it the hard way right now.
9 sacks
Yes,
today.
9 sacks. And some of that is not his fault, but some of those are his fault in, wait, you could have thrown to this guy, and now you're holding on to it too long. And then some of it is also like we saw a few sacks on replays where you go, no, everybody's covered like glue in this boring-ass play, and he's got nowhere to go with it. So it's all of it right now. But nothing is positive in Chicago. I can't even believe I'm saying that 3 weeks after them being in London, doing what they did to Jacksonville, just totally lost their mojo in the bye. And, yeah, Matt Eberflus is going to be coaching for his life here the next few weeks.
Do you want to coach the Chicago Bears?
Yes, I do.
Compass Traveler says, how to make Fareed cheer for a Bears resurgence, thinking that Ben Johnson could be their head coach. Bears offense is Einstein's definition of madness. Have a great night. That is a good point. That is a great point. We need this offense to pick up, or else they're going to hire an offensive coach, and it could be my guy.
Well, yeah, that would be my guess. I mean, that's where I would think it would go right now if Matt Eberflus doesn't, turn this around. That Ben Johnson, this is going to be the place he's going to go. Wait, them, Caleb Williams, these receivers. Okay, I'll go here. Right, I can make it work with this group. We'll see where it goes, but we got to give New England some credit.
Yeah, the other rookie quarterback.
Exactly.
What do you think of him?
The guy that's they're going in the opposite directions. Caleb Williams is plateaued or arrowed down the last few weeks, and Drake May continues to impress. Again, it's not perfect, but it's better than I expect. And again, we see ability to make big throws down the football field and at least add some explosive element to the New England Patriots offense. We know they're going to run, and Ramondre Stevenson's going to have a few runs here and there, but Drake May's big right arm has changed their football team. And you could tell there's a little belief in mojo and him and the way they're playing and the fact that I think the game's more fun with that for the receivers in the offense when he's in the game. He's opened up the field. On 3rd and 4s, he can scramble and get a first down and keep a drive alive and keep the momentum going and get guys the ball and touches and do stuff that way. Let alone they're seeing his ability to flip the field with that right arm and some of those power throws we talked about. So good for Drake May and the New England Patriots winning their 3rd game of the year.
And a good performance by that defense, not to take all the credit away from them. But it's a defense, as Devin said on your show, that has had some injuries.
They're missing guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not healthy in the secondary. They're not healthy up front. But that, again, I think that's more, we look at Chicago. It's institutional. Protection issues, man issues as far as who's blocking, not physical in the run game, whatever. Blown assignments on the defensive side of the ball, missed tackles. It's all been bad the last 3 weeks.
You know what was good?
Yeah.
Panthers trip to Germany.
Whoa.
They beat the Giants in overtime 20-17. So what was your setup? You got up early in the morning, made some coffee, had some breakfast.
Yeah, I had my yogurt first with some granola, and I was sitting there because I like to put a little something in my stomach before I start pounding the coffee, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there on the white couch room, and the 4-letter words came out pretty quickly in the football game.
Yeah.
Well, the Giants had chances early on in the game to capitalize on some plays and get some offense going. And whether it was somebody in Daniel Jones' face and there's a receiver open down the field, or the receivers open down the field, and for some reason Daniel Jones doesn't throw the ball or misses the throw altogether. There was that. And then as a Giants fan, and hey, go Panthers, the Panthers running the football the way they did, I'm shocked with the way people are running the ball on the Giants with Bobby Okereke as a middle linebacker, Dexter Lawrence as a D tackle, and that good D line. They're getting gashed in the run game right now. Chuba Hubbard did whatever he wanted. Bryce Young, it's totally revived and at least looks serviceable, let alone makes a few plays ever since he got back in the starting fold here. I'm happy for him in that way. But, man, I think more of the story is just ugly Giants football, and it's just going to be disaster talk around the Giants here as they go into their bye week. Should they fire the coach? Should they fire the GM?
Yeah.
Should it be Daniel Jones? All of that. We're going to have to hear that all until they play their next football game.
So Chuba Hubbard,
Yep.
Career high 153 yards, 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. So give him his flowers there. Give flowers to Bryce Young.
Yes.
All 4 of his career wins have come on game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. So how about that?
He made a few plays today. He did, and he's slick with the ball. I will say that.
Got the assist this time by Tyrone Tracy's fumble on the first play.
Well, that's what's
overtime.
devastating as a Giants fan. They fight back. They have 2 clutch drives at the end of the football game to tie it, send it into overtime, and then we win the coin toss, and you're going, man, we've just moved the ball up and down the field twice on them. We should be good here. And Tyrone Tracy, who's been one of the better players on our team, and I feel bad for him as a young football player, just got unlucky a little bit with the ball being a little outside the framework of his body, and I can't remember who punched it out. It might have been Josie. Who was it? I'm going to tell you right now. It might have been DJ Woonham. I think he might have got his 94? Hand in there. 90, or it may have been Ashawn Robinson.
I think it was
Robinson. It was Ashawn Robinson?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. But, yeah, that was devastating, and that was game over. All she wrote, see you later, and then they start singing Country Road, Take Me Home.
Disaster.
They're good, those fans.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I think they should do that again.
Yeah.
I think Roger Goodell said they will do that. 8 losses through 10 games in back-to-back years for the Giants. Never happened before in the history of New York Giant football. It's the first time they've gone back-to-back seasons with 8 losses or more through 10 games.
Holy crap.
The first 10 games of the year.
It's not the best time to be a Giants fan right now.
Yeah, 100th season here, so they've been playing that football for a long time. Very quickly, we'll go back to Thursday. I know it was a great game.
Oh, great game.
Matt Casey's back there, though.
Yeah.
He's going to yell at you if you start talking about this too much. But feel free, though, because you can fight
The game
Matt
was awesome.
if you have to.
It's 2 of the hottest quarterbacks in football.
Ravens beat the Bengals in a game where Jamar Chase went off. Joe Burrow was slinging it. Lamar's MVP case bolstered.
Well, you feel bad. You feel like the Bengals probably outplayed the Ravens twice this year and lost both games. That's where the Bengals, outplayed the Chiefs, lost late in the football game. They've really messed some games up. This one, 21-7 with the ball, and Chase Brown fumbles. So they give him the short field. They score a touchdown. Okay, it's 21-14. And then, Lamar Jackson throws a 6-yard hitch route to the left side, and Tylan Wallace just turns right and runs up the sideline and is barely touched for an 80-yard touchdown. That just kind of speaks to the Bengals and kind of again, that disease of just messing up the game. Unfortunate. I want to see the Bengals in this. Their offense is so fun to watch right now, what Joe Burrow is doing. How could you not enjoy watching that game and what they were doing with Jamar Chase and the back and forth between him and Lamar? But I just don't know if their defense is going to be able to play even good enough to keep them in this. That's going to be the big thing. Is it realistic to think the Bengals can score 34 and 35 every game and Joe Burrow can throw 300? I don't know. I know he's good, but I don't know if are they that good to do that. I'm not sure about that. A big loss for them on Thursday night.
They're 4-6 right now, tied with the Colts, currently the 9 seed in the AFC, a game behind the Denver Broncos, who have the last playoff spot right now.
And you saw, again, with our Ravens, their offense is awesome, but same kind of thing. The defense has got major, major issues. Major issues. What would that have looked like if T. Higgins was playing or Orlando Brown was playing at left tackle? It's not a good look by the Ravens right now, and they got nobody in the back end that can cover or do anything or make any plays for them on that side.
Yeah, but a win is a win, and they got it on Thursday. One more game to go. Monday Night Football, Dolphins at the Rams. I believe that it's the last chance for the state of Florida to win a NFL or major college football game all weekend long, right?
They are 0-4 this weekend, so they need them. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Rams are a 2.5-point favorite. You picked the Rams to win by 3.
I did. The Rams, I think, are playing pretty good. Defensive side of the ball. We kind of hit on them in the podcast last week. Some young, talented disruptors up front. I think they'll have pretty good feel for how McDaniel and the Dolphins want to play on the offensive side of the ball. There's going to be great coach knowledge here, right? McDaniel's going to know McVay. McVay's going to know McDaniel a little bit and some of what goes on and makes those systems work, right? I think, too, the Dolphins' defense is shown to me that they're better than maybe I gave them credit for a few weeks ago. But I just think with the Rams' ability to run the football and then couple that with Puka and Cooper, of course, healthy at receiver, I'm going to take them to win a tough, close football game. Clutch drive at the end of the game to win it. That's kind of how I see it.
Okay. Do we have a tweet here to show, Pete?
We got a tweet.
I think it's going to be
like, the Dolphins will move the ball, but again, can the Dolphins just keep throwing the
is.
ball 4 and 5 yards and runs on the edge and win the football game that way? I just don't know if they can do that. In fact, this is a pretty fast front seven to where I think the Rams can maybe give the Dolphins' run game some issues.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Bethune-Cookman even lost. Stetson.
FBS, FCS, it's all bad in Florida right now.
That's insane. Oh my gosh.
It's all on your shoulders, Miami Dolphins.
So DraftKings Sportsbook is the number one place to bet touchdowns. New customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the app and use promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
And the Sunday recap pod is yours.
We did it, baby.
Homies.
We did it.
This jersey, this rugby
it doesn't
Lions
get
jersey
burned?
Does not get burned.
But maybe not worn again because that was the worst game you guys played all year. I'm not sure about that.
Second half was pretty awesome,
Yeah,
though.
it was pretty
was
awesome.
fun.
Good game. Good job by you and your Lions. Thanks for coming in and traveling across the country once again just to do my podcast late in a Sunday night.
Hey, you know what? This is actually literally what they pay me for.
Oh, okay, damn. Okay, fine. No, I'm not saying sorry. Get your ass back here on Wednesday, all right? All right, everybody. You know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, review. Pick 6 pod on Wednesday. Please send in questions. Anything you want to hit on football-wise you want me to look at, I'd love to check it out. I really would. I love listening to the homies. Everybody enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace out, homies. Clap it up.
Clap it up.
Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.